Welcome to the Quantum Revenue Expansion Podcast. My name is Ursula, and I'm a sales expert, strategic business coach, and USA Today bestselling author. I love sharing strategies that show you exactly how to turn your annual revenue into your monthly revenue. If you're looking to take a quantum leap in your revenue or sales, your team, your productivity, your success, and your life, then you are meant to be here. My goal in every episode is to help you take your belief that it's possible to 2x or 10x your revenue while working way less to knowing that it is happening right now.
Thanks for joining us for another edition of The Small Business Show with Jim Fitzpatrick, exclusively on ASBN.com.
Hey everyone, Jim Fitzpatrick. You're watching another episode of The Small Business Show exclusively right here at ASBN.com and now streaming on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV. According to Spot.io, more than 40% of salespeople say prospecting is the most challenging part of the sales process. I can attest to that. Nobody likes prospecting. Joining us today to discuss how to influence your prospect in the selling process is entrepreneur, business strategist, sales expert, and author Ursula Menchez, who had a podcast on this very episode, on this very topic, I should say. So thank you so much, Ursula, for joining us once again here at the show. Appreciate it very much.
Jim, thanks for having me back. I'm super excited to be here again.
Sure. So how can entrepreneurs identify the needs of their prospects during the sales process?
Such a great question. And it's really about connecting with intention. I love to start there because if there's no rapport, your prospect's not going to be interested. And so it really is about being interested in them. And I remember the best piece of sales advice that I ever received was this. My mentor said, Ursula, forget about yourself. It's not about you. Right. It's about the people you're here to serve. And when you focus on them and you focus on the problem you can solve or the need you can meet, you'll know if you can help them or not. And that's what selling is. And that changed the whole trajectory of my career.
And that comes through, doesn't it, to that prospect, that you are making it about them versus you. Because I think so many times salespeople will go into a scenario where they do make it too much about them, and it comes across right to that prospect where they go, "Whoa, this person doesn't have my best interest at heart," right?
Right. Listen, and we can't fake this. Here's the thing. If you don't feel good about what you're selling, people are going to know.
That's
right.
And
the flip side is most sales professionals and entrepreneurs that I meet, they deeply love the product and service that they offer. And they want to help as many people as they can. But often up here, Jim, we know the head gets in the way, right? We make up these stories about being rejected, or what if they say no, or what if they don't like me, or, fill in the blank. And the truth is, if you think about the last time you bought a high ticket item, you did it because that person really seemed like they cared about you, really seemed like they wanted to make a difference for you. That's why we buy.
That's right. No question about it. Can you share some strategies for actively listening to prospects?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, here's the secret a lot of people don't know, Jim. Maybe you don't even know this, but I'm trained as a marriage and family therapist. I did this after my corporate career. Like I got out of corporate and I was like, what am I going to do? And I loved the field of coaching. There wasn't a master's degree in coaching yet. So I had a master's degree in counseling psychology. And of course, one of the things we focused on was active listening. And as I was sitting there in class, I was thinking, wow, this should be sales training, right?
That's right.
Active listening is about making eye contact. It's about using your ears, listening more than using the mouth, right?
Right.
And I always tell my clients, like, you could literally ask a prospect 2 powerful open-ended questions and just let them talk. And by the end of your time together, you could decide whether or not you think you could help them. That's what active listening is.
That's right. That's right. When you say 2 questions, are there, can you share some of the questions like that you would recommend?
Yes. Oh, I get so excited about this. So 2 things you want to look at. Number 1, what is the problem that you want to solve for the client? What's the problem that your product or service does solve, right? So that question is pain related. So you want to ask an open-ended pain related question, which could be as simple as, what are your top 3 challenges with your business right now?
Yep.
I like to ask in 3s because that gives a lot of information.
Yeah.
Once you understand the pain, then you want to understand, what are their goals? Where do they want to be? So if they're here and they want to be here, what's the goal? So you could say, what are the 3 biggest dreams you have for your business this year? Now all of a sudden you have a gap. Here's what they don't want. Here's what they do want. And you can see, and you can answer the question, does my product or service answer the question in between. Will it get them from here to here?
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you know whether or not you can serve them.
That's right. And the toughest thing for salespeople, and I am one of them, is to let them finish all three. Don't jump in. Don't say, great, I'm glad you mentioned that because our product's going to do X, Y, and Z. And you're only on number one still, right? Go with the shut up and go with the three.
Yes. And this is where a lot of people think being super extroverted is critical in the sales process. And I always say, no, this is where introverts win because they're great listeners. They know when to stop talking. I've actually been on sales meetings now in this time of Zoom where we're selling. And I sometimes will message someone on my team and say, just let them talk.
That's right. That's right. There's no question about it. I have that. I've got that problem. And my wife, who is my partner in our business, will do the same thing. She'll like motion me, when we're on a Zoom call or whatever. And she's like, just let them tell you. Because so many times, to your point, if you listen, they will pretty much tell you. They'll give you the blueprint as to how to close them, right? With all of the necessary ingredients. You just have to be quiet enough to get that from them, right?
Absolutely. And Jim, I think the thing we forget is just how isolated people still are, kind of coming out of COVID.
Sure.
Just this time, like, even though it's been a few years, I just noticed people are lonely, people are isolated. Yeah. And so giving people the opportunity to share whether or not you can help them is one of the greatest gifts you can give them. And if they don't buy from you, I'm guessing they'll refer someone who will.
That's right. That's right. It's great advice. And I'm writing it down because I'm taking it. I need this kind of stuff. So in your podcast episode, or in the episode of your podcast, you mentioned confidence. How does confidence impact the sales approach?
Yeah. Confidence sells. That's what I always say. Confidence sells because, and I mean authentic confidence, like truly the belief that we believe we can solve someone's problem or meet a need. But think about the last time you bought a high ticket item. You bought it from someone who was confident that it could make a difference for you, right? Like think about a car. If you bought a car recently, I'm guessing you bought it from someone who was super confident, like this was the car for you. This is the one that was going to make a difference, right? That's what translates. People want to hear your confidence. As soon as they know you're confident, you can solve a problem or meet a need, the sale is done.
That's right. That's right. It's my friend often says, if you're not sure, I'm positive. And more times than not, right, that happens in sales where, to your point, if a person is so confident about being able to help that prospect overcome their issue or their problem or their pain point, then that can be very attractive to that prospect, right? Like, wow, we found somebody that is positive, they can help us with this, right?
Yeah, the sale's done at that point. Confidence sells.
That's
no
right.
question.
That's right. And these techniques, are that we're talking about here. They work. I mean, you probably heard this, us having this discussion today, and said to yourself as a salesperson or an entrepreneur, and that kind of is almost one and the same today, that it makes sense to listen more than you're going to talk and to get from that prospect what their pain points are and what their motives are, what is going to make them happy. When they talk about, you talk about the dreams for their company and what their hopes and aspirations are, let all of that flow because it's such great information that you need in order to steer them in the right direction for, to make a sale, right? It's great advice. No question about it. Yeah, for sure. So Ursula Menchez, entrepreneur, business strategist, sales expert, best-selling author. Thank you so much for joining us on the show once again. Very much appreciate it. I know that our viewers get so much out of your visit with us, so thank you.
Jim, my pleasure. Thanks for having me back.
Great, thanks.
Thanks for joining us for another edition of The Small Business Show with Jim Fitzpatrick, exclusively on ASBN.com.
Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. If you loved what you heard, be sure to leave a review on iTunes so I know what you like and can create content that guides you to up-level your business even more. If you want more strategic business tips, follow me on social media. You'll find me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and LinkedIn, and you can visit my website at www.ursulainc.co. I love being on this journey with you and can't wait to connect with you on the next episode. In the meantime, make this your most epic month yet.